Hello, my name is Literally Dead, and check it out, they added a new hero. It is the Raging Bladestorm, Kirdan. His new design doesn't necessarily stick out to me, but let's unlock him anyways and see what he's about. And done. Cool screen as always, but let's check him out in the barracks. Alright, so his splash art is a lot cooler, makes his design look a little bit cooler, and he does have a cool description, allow me to read that. Unlike a certain sandstorm that rapidly sweeps the surroundings in the wilderness of the north, the storm from Kirdan's blade quietly and powerfully devours all that's near, though not so much in any haste. Cool. He also came out with a new skin, I believe it is the Golden Blade Kirdan, and that has a description of its own. Let me read that as well. The ancient remains of the north may now lie in ruin, but there's once stood a glorious kingdom of gold. Old scripts tell the tale of the kingdom ruled in the north with warriors armed in gold. However, its legacy is nowhere to be found except for the swordsmanship of the warriors. Cool, let's see how he looks let's just do a level 1 Kirdan in chapter 1, and let's talk about him. You know, I'm just going to use solo team stuff like insignia, cross, and shield, and all that good stuff. Let's just see how he does. And while that's going on, let's talk about him more. Kirdan is a warrior type hero who sweeps through the battlefield using his skills. He's from the North region, he's a tenacity class, and his ability is called Storm Assault. Multiple damage is inflicted on all enemies within a 3x3 range, while its duration is also grants an additional hit upon reaching certain rates of additional attack speed. Moves to the position where it can attack the most enemies while using the skill. I think that last part, where he moves to the most enemies, is pretty interesting, because you know, sometimes units move a lot, so I'm a little concerned about that actually, because I feel like he might move somewhere where he thinks there'll be a lot of enemies, but then they all move, and then he won't. I don't know if he constantly moves or what, but I guess we'll see. I mean, best case scenario, he constantly attacks the most amount of enemies, meaning the most amount of damage output, so I'm not going to complain. I will say the ability looks cool, and I like how it looks, but also at the same time, it kind of looks like he's swinging in slow motion. I don't know if that's just me or what, but I don't know. Alright, well, let's talk about the rest of the update. Let's see. The new summon of Blessing, you have a higher chance of getting Mel and Bardry. They are considered the Song of Warriors, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, there's a new event skin, Void Destroyer Ophelia, which can be purchased with 139 gems, 28 skin tokens, or 298 northern monster tokens, only from the event. Alright, this is like super random, but like I was just thinking about this, and honestly, he kind of like reminds me of a Beyblade. He kind of just like swivels around so fast, and then he goes closer towards other enemies. It looks very silly, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. There's also something else I wanted to mention that I think is very silly is, you know, when you finish a round and it's like, oh, it says victory. Usually heroes like stop what they're doing, but he still spins. I think that's just, I don't know if that's funny to you guys, but I think it's a little funny to me. Because he's just spinning there and he's just going. Yeah, I don't know if you guys even care, but it's a little funny to me. Let me live. Alright, that's done. Let's see how he does in a big boy chapter, but first we have to level him up. I'm going to try to level him up as high as possible, and unfortunately I forgot that I spent all my gold on like reforging for my relics, but forgive me, sorry about that. Anyways, I'm going to at least be able to get him to his Awaken ability, and speaking of, let's talk about it. His Awaken ability is called Eye of the Storm, where he takes 50% less damage and 50% HP drain on spell damage only when HP is at 30% or below. Now, in my opinion, I only think this is decent. Only in Invasion even, to be honest, because like if you look at this animation I put onto the side, his attack drain is pretty slow, honestly. And like in other game modes like, let's say Rift or even like Arena, you know, people do a lot of damage, and I feel like he won't be able to recover as much HP as damage he's taking, so he'll just die really quick. Other than that though, I don't know. I don't really have any complaints. Alrighty, let's do a big boy chapter now. Let's do chapter 8. The team's gonna say the same, right? It doesn't really matter. Let's do it, and while I'm doing that, let's talk about Raid. So first off, Raid is going to be a little bit different now. There's going to be progress bars, you can attack different bosses, but there's only going to be 2 different types of bosses, and the raid progress of an alliance increases based on the number of incarnates that have been defeated in each difficulty level. As you can see, there's a list of them right there, And when the goal is reached, all Alliance members are rewarded with raid tokens, and as well as buffs for the season. Raid progress consists of up to 5 levels depending on the incarnate and difficulty. When the goal is reached, raid progress points are added to the Alliance raid score. Raid progress points equals progress tokens. Rewards earned by Alliance members are 20,000 points per member, and up to 83,200,000 points will be awarded. Raid progress buffs are applied separately for each defeated incarnate and difficulty level. They also changed how to form different raiders, and they've increased the number of raider teams that can be formed, allowing more opportunities to try out different compositions. We've also removed the 3 times only limit that each raid team previously had. Raider teams can be used unlimited amount of times during the season once formed, which is a good change in my opinion. You can change up to 15 teams in total, and 10 raider teams can be formed in the day. Let's see here, each raid team can be named differently to be distinguished, and the raider inventory resets at the beginning of each season. And they added a little more convenience for each team. When forming a raider team, you can just load a team that you already have in your barracks, so that just makes things a little bit easier. On top of that, they also simplified forming raiders. They simplified the raider forming battles to accommodate the increasing number of raiders, changed the raider forming battles to 5 rounds instead of 10, and then the divine power option has been removed. I'll talk about divine power a little bit later. You can also adjust the difficulty for each raider. When you defeat an incarnate, you can challenge the higher difficulty level when you face stronger incarnates. Whenever the difficulty levels goes up, the maximum number of raid tokens you can obtain is different based on the difficulty level. If you lose a battle with an incarnate, you can re-challenge with another raider. After summoning, you cannot change the difficulty until you abandon the battle. If you abandon the battle, the number of summons spent will not be returned. If you don't have a raider, then you can still organize a raider after summoning an incarnate. However, you cannot use a hero that is a duplicate of a previously used raider. Alright, back to Divine Power. At the start of each battle, with an incarnate, you are granted 10 Divine Power. Divine Power reduces equal to the sum of damage you given to the incarnate. Divine Power affects increasing the enemy unit damage is removed. Instead, the damage and spell power of enemy incarnates increases with difficulty. The ally damage increases. The damage taken reduction due to the Divine Power will be applied as follows. Sorry, that was a mouthful of a sentence. Divine Power calculation formula. Here, just check it out. To be honest, I really don't want to read all that. And they also did a change in the reward system. You can receive raid tokens as a reward if you clear the raid. If you clear the raid for the first time, you can also obtain the first clear rewards with raid tokens. Here they are. Again, I'm not gonna read them all out to you. That just takes a lot of time. Just pause it and check them out for yourself. There's also changing in the scoring system. The scoring system now contains 2 scores below, which is your personal score and the alliance score, which, I think those are self-explanatory. And as battle changed, so does the scoring formula. Here it is. If you care, pause if you want to. And then here is very important. This is joining and leaving alliances during raid season. Please pay attention if you are considering leaving or joining an alliance during raid season. Once you leave an alliance during the raid season, you will not be able to participate in alliance raid until next season, and even if you join another alliance. However, you can still participate in raid individually. If you participate in raid individually, you won't be able to receive any progress achievements, rewards, or effects from your former alliance. If you were to leave during a raid season, a warning will pop up and it will be displayed. As for users who are under the alliance leaving penalty, a warning badge will be displayed on their alliance application request. If one of a member of your alliance leaves during raid season, the alliance raid score will be deducted equal to the portion of the member that leaves the alliance. Please keep in mind that there could be changes in your alliance raid ranks, and the score deduction occurs during the withdrawal of the member. However, raid progress that the user contributed to the alliance remains. Dear God, that was a lot of changes. Well, look, I don't know how to feel about it, but in my opinion, it's just okay, and I can't really formulate a full opinion until we've gone through an entire raid season. But again, we'll just see. As for the new hero Kirdan, I think the design is whatever, but I think the gameplay for him is cool. Other than that, I don't really see much of a usage outside of PvE. I don't see him in PvP at all, to be honest. He doesn't seem like a PvP player, so again, I could be wrong, but we will see. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and if you do, I will give you a high five in Minecraft though, only in Minecraft. Alright, later.